guys, Crypto G here, coming at you with my first video in my quest to become a chess master. I thought I should have a quick go on rapid 10 minutes because somebody has indicated that they'd like to play me and help me in my challenge. However, they are quite highly rated, and I thought, that's fine because I want to play up. I want to play people better than me. That's obviously going to help me get there a tiny bit faster. So I thought I would try these 10-minute games, which I don't usually play. Now, I usually try the 5-minute games with 3-second increments, and obviously those games can take quite a long time because if you move quickly you get 3 seconds per move, and you end up getting a lot longer than 5 minutes to play. So this one actually felt like less time, and it wasn't a good game. I made some terrible mistakes, but I thought, we can't all be perfect. If I wait for the perfect game, then I'll never post anything. So let's get right into it and watch the travesty that is this game with Mr. Salim. Okay, let's jump into it. Okay, so let's go. As you can see, he plays the king's opening, and I often come out with my queen's pawn, but he comes out with his queen. Now, I don't know a lot about chess, obviously, that's why I'm doing this quest. I'm trying to learn more about openings and what have you, but I've watched a little bit of Ben Feingold, and I'm pretty sure coming out with your queen like that to that answer isn't great. So I just carry on doing what I usually do in this situation, but of course in this situation his queen isn't usually there. And as you can see, because I'm pausing, I'm realizing, my first mistake. If I take his bishop, I'm going to lose my queen's rook right there in the corner. So I carry on here, and I just protect the pawn. I realize, okay, well, let's try and consolidate on this mistake. He then moves his bishop back, even though he could have kept it there for another move. I castle. He offers the queen exchange, which I just feel is too early, and I don't like my rook over on that side. I find it usually takes, it's usually not a good idea. So anyway, now he's threatening me with his dark side bishop. I decide to cover with my pawn because I want to leave my queen there, in line with his king. You never know what can happen. And of course it opens up that bishop line, and I can attack that rook and mess up his castling side. He moves his knight in front of it, and I move my pawn up. Now this is where I don't think I'm playing particularly well at the moment, but I believe it just gets worse. I push up looking for a fork with the pawn. He now is attacking that pawn with 2 pieces. I'm attacking his queen. He comes in, offers the queen exchange. In hindsight, I should have just taken it. I should have just taken his queen when he came down and maybe gone to the knight. I don't know, but what I did was just not great, basically, because of course he's attacking my knight as well as offering the exchange. After some deliberation, should I come up with my pawns, what have you, it's not great. It's not great. So in the end, I think you'll see here, I decide to move my knight back, and obviously he can now just jump in there and take that pawn, which I believe he does, because he's now covering the pawn with his queen that I was threatening with my white bishop, so he can take. I come up. Now he surprises me here with a knight sacrifice, attacking my queen. Obviously, if if I take the knight, he will then come down and take the pawn. Again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I should have probably done that, but instead I think, you know what, I don't want your knight there threatening check and my queen, so I come up, take his bishop. He obviously has to take the queen back. I take the queen with his pawn, and there we go. That shows how I wasn't even thinking about that. I should have put him in check, obviously, and that would have saved me. That would have got his knight as well, but instead I lose my rook. Swap knights, get his rook. Now, of course, as soon as I take his rook, I'm thinking I should get out of there. As you can see, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, he can trap me with his pawn. It's one of my favourite moves when that's gone, but he now attacks my white bishop, so I can't do that yet. I attack his rook. Now, this is stunningly bad play. I'm in pain just watching this because I take quite a long time deciding where to come. I know that obviously my pawn is hanging afterwards, after I move that bishop, so I'm thinking, where's a good place to put this? I want to try and get it on g3, but there's no obvious route to that because his knight is affecting that route, you know. And as you can see, I'm thinking, and then bang, I move to literally the worst place I can possibly move to. He then obviously thinks I'm doing something clever because I took so long to move that bishop there. It was, I don't know, I mean, I'm playing like an 8-year-old at the moment and it's painful. So eventually he takes the bishop and I move the knight, even though just 2 moves ago I was thinking, and as you can see my mouse has gone up to that black bishop and of course he's going to trap it. And I resign. So that's that. That was that game. It was, so we can see it was pretty rubbish, basically. I rage quit and yeah, I gave him a rematch. So let's see in the next one if I can do any better. Right, so here we go. I go king's opening. I'm obviously white this time, and you know, this is something that I want to do in this challenge, is get better openings for white, because I'm just stuck on this king's opening and I never really do anything with it, and I tend to play better when I am black. So this structure here, which I'm not very comfortable with, it's not feeling great, but he makes his first mistake. Now, I see his rating and I'm like, you know what? Okay, I played terrible in the first one, but I am better than this guy. Come on. You know, I'd imagine that I'm going to get, when the ratings settle down, I'm going to get a 10-minute rating of about 1450, maybe 15. That's what I'd expect. So anyway, first mistake there, he loses his king. And of course, you know, as Ben Feingold says, never move that king's pawn, or at least, you know, don't take it lightly. But he does. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to beat him here. He moves his bishop in. I consider going for the exchange, but instead I castle. Now I go for the exchange, and he comes over with his queen. I suddenly realise that actually I'm a bit hemmed in here. So what do? I move my knight, obviously. But I move it to the wrong place. That should have been to d2, I think. It should have been to d2, and then I would have been able to attack his queen the next move. But you know what, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I guess I was thinking he could have come in with his knight. As you see, I'm preparing a pre-move to just immediately take it with my queen. But he gets me in a fork and leaves his queen. So I'm like, yeah, this guy, he isn't that good. You know, I shouldn't be losing to him. But as I take his queen, I suddenly realise, oh, actually that pawn is in a pretty devastating place, because it can now fork me good and proper, pardon the pun, and he's going to get my rook, and now he's going to get my queen. You probably spotted that if you're above the age of 7, which I'm obviously not. And so now what looked like a complete mistake for him was actually, arguably a good move. He's a full rook up. I've got 2 bishops and a rook. He's got a bishop and a knight and 2 rooks. And the only thing I've got going for me is I've got 2 pawns. So at the moment I'm not feeling too bad. It's fairly even. I think that 2 pawn advantage kind of sort of evens up the rook. It doesn't actually, because 2 pawns are worth 2 points, aren't they? And a rook's worth 5. So I'm still behind. So I want to break down this structure, and I decide that now he thinks for a long time, and he's going. Now this guy here, to be honest, either he too has just started playing 10-minute ratings, 10-minute games, hence his rating is fairly low, or or he just doesn't play them very much and he's very good, which is what I think it is. He's a bit better than I gave him credit for, and I'm not quite as good as I thought I was. This was a very humbling experience, actually, playing this guy. So anyway, we can see now he doesn't take my bait to take my pawn, so I push up with my queen's pawn, and he decides to take. So I've got a bit of break now. I'm feeling okay at this stage, even though I'm a rook down, because my end game, I consider it fairly strong. I don't know official end game moves or what have you, but I don't know. I always seem to be fairly good, and in fact, a game that we're going to analyse in coming videos, which is like my highest rated victory, I won it because of Endgame. So now here I'm feeling okay. I've got this pawn structure here by the king is pretty strong, and I'm looking to develop on my queen's side, and I think, okay, let's see exactly how we can do this. So I push up there, as we can see, and I'm thinking, okay, if he takes, that's fine. I'm going to zoom up with the rook probably, try and get some pressure going, get some check pressure going, come back with that. He's thought of that and come back with his king. And I think I just take here. I can't remember actually. I think I just take, because I'm like, look, I just need to burst through. I need to change something here, because I feel that I can mate him if in the right situation. I'm just going to forward this actually, because I think I take a bit of time. I'm considering check. Actually, I want you to see all this. It's kind of obvious for all the things I'm considering, and in the end I go for the take. Now I put him in check here, which I don't think is a bad move. It's not a bad move, but it's the kind of stuff I do afterwards that I think is bad. Now here I've looked at this. I think I should rook across to check. Rook across to check. or at least bishop back down, dark bishop back down, rook behind it, and at least set up some kind of reveal check. And even if he moves, I think that's a good spot for my rook. Instead, I come up with the bishops down, and as soon as I move that white bishop, I'm thinking, that's not a good move. Now, I don't want to trade here, obviously, because ultimately, you know, he's a rook up, and I don't want to face. I don't want it to be 1 versus 2 rooks. So anyway, let me speed up this next little bit for you, and you'll just see that, you know, we're kind of maneuvering. I'm trying to keep both my bishops on board, and, you know, trying to attack as many pawns as possible. He's he's covering all the way, and yeah, it's very difficult because obviously I don't quite want to sacrifice yet. He moves this up. It's always demoralizing when your opponent has pre-moved, because at this stage of the game, because he knows exactly what's going on. And, you know, obviously I would have loved to have moved my bishop up and tried to get in that spot somehow and attack both rooks, but of course I couldn't. I can only attack one. He moves the rook, and there is nowhere else for that bishop to go, really. I suppose I could have come up with my bishop and maybe tried to, my dark square bishop, but as we see here, he's now locked that pawn. And if you want to know what it sounds like, a silent scream sounds like, then this is it. Basically, I'm screaming inside. I want to give up, but at the same time, I'm like, no, come on. This guy's rating, he's what, 1353? Come on, he's got to make a mistake. I've got to do something that, you know, I can rescue this. You can always rescue games against lower rated players, but no, I can't. I mean, I did, you know, I've heard some players kind of cheat and use engines, and I did wonder, but I don't know. You can't worry about that too much, and I just don't understand what's the point of cheating. You know, you're only gonna cheat yourself. Anyway, let's move on from that. I'm just gonna speed up a little bit here. As you can see, there's a little bit of maneuvering, and now you can actually watch my descent into madness. As here we go, the arrows start coming out, and I start thinking about protecting that and trying to somehow get his king into a skewer, and as you can see there, I know it's not going to be good, because I know I'll end up swapping that rook down, maybe for a second, for one move, pressuring that pawn. And so, yeah, the arrows were out, and that is a little glimpse into my mental state, because I also know that I obviously know what's going to come down. He's going to come down with the rook, and he's going to attack both bishops, hence I'm hovering over it. Yeah, the green circles are coming out, green arrows, and you can usually tell, it's, with me, it's not a good sign once I start messing about with those. It means it's all going wrong. I mean, that arrow wasn't even moving to a place where his rook would move to. So yeah, here we go. This is the end of time. I'm going to, yeah, I'll just speed this bit up a bit actually. Okay, so you can just see in fast mode, just how bad it is. I mean, it's kind of obvious what's going to happen here. I mean, maybe if you gave this position to Magnus Carlsen, he could win it from here. Probably could, actually. The man's a genius. But obviously I am not. As you can see, various exchanges happened. He sacrifices his rook because obviously he's going to get a queen, and there's nothing I can do. I can move my queen down to the king rank, and as you see there, I end up quitting. So basically that's it. We've seen my descent into madness, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Please, if you have any comments about the game or about my general terrible play, please leave them in the comments below, and yeah, I'll see you for the next one, and hopefully we'll see a massive improvement on my future games. Okay, thank you, and goodbye. Thanks for watching.